أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. In our last lesson, we were speaking about the importance of marriage. And we were also mentioning several narrations by Ahlul Bait alayhim salam that emphasize on the importance of marriage. We mentioned the narration regarding Yusuf and Benjamin alayhim salam. When Yusuf told him, based on the words of Imam al-Sadiq, of course, salamullah alayh, how were you able to marry women after me? Meaning when I was absent and we were going through days of separation, days of gloomy days of sadness, how were you able to even get married? So he told him what? He told him that my father told me, our father Yaqub alayhi salam, he commanded me to get married by saying, إن استطعت أن تكون لك ذرية تثقل الأرض بالتسبيح فافعل. And we explained what this statement meant in the last lesson. Basically, Yaqub had told Benjamin that if you're able to acquire a progeny that will make the earth heavier through its tasbih, a righteous progeny, a progeny that believes in God and worships God subhanahu wa ta'ala, then do so. And obviously, to have a progeny, the route which leads to having a righteous progeny is what? Marriage. Tamam? We also mentioned another narration of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, which is found in Al-Kafi, where he spoke about his father, Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam. And in that narration, Imam al-Baqir said a mesmerizing word that tells us a lot about marriage and how important marriage is. When he said, وَمَا أُحِبُّ أَنَّ لِيَ الدُّنْيَا وَمَا فِيهَا وَإِنِّي بِتُّ لَيْلَةً وَلَيْسَتْ لِي زَوْجَةٌ. Saying that I do not like to receive the world with everything it contains in exchange of what? In exchange of remaining single for one night, and staying for one night without a wife. Subhanallah. And the Imam is telling you that that marriage is super important and super beneficial. Jayyid has amazing benefits, such that he refuses to be given the whole world with everything it contains in exchange of what? Of being without a wife for one night. Not a year, not 2 years, one night. That tells you a lot about the effects and the importance of marriage. Again, this is not a fallible human being talking. This is Baqir al-Ulum, Imam al-Baqir, salawatullah wa salamuhu alayh. And we said multiple times that these narrations are really important, especially in our day and age, because in our day and age, especially in the West, we find people kind of pushing themselves away from marriage. They want to delay marriage. Jayyid, they want to delay it. You'll find youth مثلا saying, we'll delay it till we're 30 or in our 30s or maybe in our 40s, which is wrong. Delaying marriage is wrong. Sometimes you have to delay it. You're in a specific circumstance or a specific situation where you have to delay it. That's a different story. But in many cases, a person is not required to delay it. So why delay it? Relax. Islam encourages a person to get married early, to get married at a young age, because as we said, in the previous lessons, it benefits him and it protects the believer from a bunch of sins. It protects him from falling into various types of sins, not only sins pertaining to carnal desire, even other types of sins as well. So after mentioning these beautiful traditions, we're going to go into the traditions that speak about the spouse. Yes, Ahlul Bait alayhim salam emphasized a lot on what? On getting married. But the same family, the same household, Ahlul Bait salamullah alayhim, also told us when you want to get married to the right person. Don't just marry any random Muslim or any random Muslima. Choose your spouse carefully. They said that in many narrations, salamullahi alayhim. So I understand, when I want to understand the message of Ahlul Bayt, I have to look at everything they said. I understand that Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam tell me as a Shi'i or as a Shi'iyya, I should get married. But I also understand from them that I cannot be careless in choosing my spouse. Rather, I have to choose the right individual, the right husband or the right wife. So these words apply not only to men, they apply to both men and women. Today, inshallah, we're going to take a few traditions. We're going to read a few traditions about choosing the right wife. I'm going to start with the wife, and then inshallah we'll go to the husband. And by the way, these ahadith pertain to both genders. Yani today we're going to read some narrations that speak about choosing the right wife. Someone might imagine that this only benefits the men, when in reality it benefits both men and women. Why? Because women, later on after marriage, what do they become? They become mothers. And one day they're going to have to choose the right wife for who? For their sons. So the ahadith that speak about choosing the right wife are beneficial to the men and to the women. Men and women need these ahadith. And the opposite is also true. When we're going to read the narrations about choosing the right husbands, men might think that, this does not apply to them. No, it applies to them. It applies to them. Why? Because one day you'll be a father, you'll have a daughter, and you'll be responsible of choosing the right husband for your daughter. So let me share a few ahadith with you today on this regard, starting with a narration by our beloved Imam As-Sadiq alayhi salam. This one is in Wasa'il al-Shia. By now, it should be clear that Wasa'il al-Shia is a hadith book, right? But is it a primary source or a secondary source? Abdullah? Secondary source. What's a secondary source? What's a secondary source? Ahsant. Centuries or maybe decades after. Sahih. So it cites the primary sources. Sahih? Bravo. And who's the author of Al-Wasa'il? Just testing your memory. Al-Hurr al-Amili. Okay? Bravo عليك. Good job, Abdullah. MashaAllah عنك. Al-Hurr al-Amili. You know why he was called Al-Amili, right? Why? He was the goat. He's Al-Amili because he's from Jabal Hamil, from Lebanon. Jayid, South Lebanon. Subhanallah. Taban, we had scholars throughout history from various locations. We had scholars from Iraq who were top-notch scholars, like Al-Allama Al-Hilli. Hilli means what? He's from Hilla, right? He's from Hilla. Rahmatullah alayh. Muhaqqiq Al-Hilli, also from Hilla. And you had scholars from Iran, مثلا. like Sheikh al-Tusi. Tusi يعني he's from Tus, from Mashhad. Yes, Habibi. Okay. No, it's random. It's all about taqwa, piety, and about knowledge. جيد. So at a certain in certain eras, مثلا, the top scholar, the top grand scholar, what we call it marja al-a'la, was, for example, Iraqi. In certain eras, he was Irani. He was from Iran. In certain eras, he could be from Lebanon. Allah ma'ak, Muhammad. Certain eras, he could be from other countries. مثلا Sayyid al-Khou'i, rahmatullah alayh, he was from Turkey. جيد. He was Turkish. ف... فنحن, it doesn't matter where he's from. What matters is his taqwa, his faith, his piety, and his ilm, his knowledge. طيب. So in Wasail al-Shia, we have a narration going back to Abdullah ibn Maskan or Muskan. He says عن بعض أصحابه, he narrates what some of his companions said. قال سمعت أبا عبد الله عليه السلام. One of his companions said that he heard Imam al-Sadiq saying, إنما المرأة قلادة فانظر إلى ما تقلده. Meaning, فانظر إلى ما تتقلده. The Imam alayhi salam speaks in a figurative manner. He says a lady is a necklace. So be careful. Choose your necklace carefully. Here he's talking what? About a wife. Why does he say that the wife is a necklace? What can we understand from this expression? The wife is a necklace. Yeah. Ahsan, it's very close to you, and a wife is very close to her husband. So because she's very close, she's able to know certain secrets that other people don't know. صح? But you want to make sure that you marry the right person, because that person will know your secrets. If you marry the wrong person, she might use those secrets what? Against you. صح? جيد. But that's one meaning. That's one meaning. What else do we understand from that expression? She's very close to you. السلام عليكم. عفوا. بس بدي شي نص ساعة تقريبا. Yes. Okay. Okay. You're one, you're very close. Okay. You should protect her. تمام. جيد. Okay. So what we can say, what I wanted to say, I'm going to reword what you're saying. A necklace is an ornament that stays on you, stays with you. And the same applies to the wife. جيد. You're choosing basically a person who will spend the rest of your life and her life with you. جيد. If you choose the wrong person, she might turn your life into a living hell. And the same applies to the husband, of course. تمام? But if you choose the right person, she'll show you what mercy. She'll help you regarding the issues pertaining to this world and the issues pertaining to the hereafter. So a pious lady is a lady who helps her husband. She supports him. She's a big helper. Tamam? So a person needs to find that lady. The mu'min needs to find that lady. But this is another meaning we understand from the Imam's word when he says, إِنَّمَا الْمَرْأَةُ قِلَادَةٌ. She's a necklace. The necklace stays on you. She stays with you. The wife stays with you. You want to choose the right person, because if you choose the wrong person, you might, go through years and years of pain or years and years of misery. So save yourself the trouble. قال وسمعته يقول. The narrator says, and I also heard Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam say another word pertaining to women. What did he say? ليس للمرأة خطر. He says a lady does not have a value. Oof, doesn't have a value. That's a bold statement. جيد? You can't say these words today in the West. جيد? What does he mean عليه السلام? ليس للمرأة خطر. She does not have a value. Let's hear Imam al-Sadiq عليه السلام. He says لا لصالحتهن ولا لطالحتهن. He's saying I'm talking about the righteous ladies and those who are not righteous. The impious ladies have no value. جيد? And also, you cannot specify a specific value to the righteous ladies. How so? The Imam continues. He says, أما صالحتهن فليس خطرها الذهب والفضة بل هي خير من الذهب والفضة. He says, as for the righteous ladies, their value is greater than gold and silver. If someone were to ask, how valuable, how great is a pious lady, is a righteous lady, some might say she's as valuable as gold and silver. The Imam says, no, your statement is wrong. Her value exceeds the value of gold and silver. That's why he said that they have no value. What he means to say is that a righteous lady, a pious lady, is priceless. You cannot attribute a monetary value to that lady to determine how valuable or how great she is. So the Imam is greatly praising what? Righteous women. Greatly praising women who are Fatimiyat, who follow Fatimat al-Zahra, alayha afdal as-salatu was-salam. Zaynabiyat, Khadijiyat. They follow Zaynab al-Kubra, Khadijat al-Kubra, salamullah alayhima. All right. So when he says, أما صالحتهن فليس خطرها الذهب والفضة بل هي خير من الذهب والفضة. He's saying that they're greater than gold and silver. So you cannot determine the value of a pious lady by saying she's as valuable as gold or as valuable as silver. No, she's more valuable than gold and silver. Then he said, وأما طالحتهن فليس التراب خطرها بل التراب خير منها. As for the ladies who are not salihat, they're not righteous, the spoiled ladies, he says those ladies, their value does not equate the value of dust, of dirt. In fact, dirt is more valuable than them. Also a bold statement by Imam al-Sadiq alayhi as-salatu was-salam. Why is dirt or dust better, greater than a spoiled lady, a bad lady, an evil lady? Why? Because dirt or soil is beneficial. You can use it. You can use it مثلا for tayammum. جيد. You can use it sometimes to build certain issues. You draw benefit from that dirt, from that soil. The soil can be used to, for example, plant seeds. But a spoiled lady, an evil lady, is a menace for mankind. She can destroy not only a household, she can destroy a whole society. Which tells us that the roles or the role of a lady is a critical role. The roles of ladies, the role of a lady is a critical role. And Al-Quran Al-Kareem confirms this issue, confirms it. See, in Surah Al-Tahrim, at the end of Surah Al-Tahrim, Allah mentions two examples. Actually, four examples. Four. Two pertaining to believers and two pertaining to disbelievers. What are these examples? Or let me say, who are these examples? Does anyone remember who Surah Al-Tahrim mentions? Yes. At the end. The last verses. وضرب الله مثلا للذين كفروا. There's one more person. So at the end of Surah Al-Tahrim, write this down. The end of Surah Tahrim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala presents 4 examples. You remember the last one? Who's the last one? Maryam, Ahsant. 4 examples for mankind. 2 pertaining to the believers, and 2 pertaining to the disbelievers. جيد. طيب.
Sheikh,
Yes.
is it possible to just get the camera a bit closer to the whiteboard?
The whiteboard. Let me move the board in a way you can see it, inshallah. Can you see it now?
Yep, way better. Okay.
Way better. Jade.
Sheikh, can you please read number 1 again, if you don't mind?
So I said at the end of Surah Al-Tahrim, Allah presents 4 examples for mankind, 2 pertaining to the believers and 2 pertaining to the disbelievers. So the 2 that pertain to the disbelievers are who? Number 1, the wife, Shababna, منتبهين, of Noah. And number 2, the wife of Lut, alayhim as-salam.
So, Sheikh, the wife of Noah and the wife of Lut, are these for the believers?
The disbelievers, al-kuffar.
This kuffar, okay.
Yeah.
How about for the believers?
The 2 pertaining to the believers, I'm going to write them down.
Thank you.
The 2 pertaining to the believers are Asya bint Muzahim and Maryam bint Amran, alayhima as-salam. Number 1, Asya bint Muzahim. طبعا Allah Ta'ala does not call her Asya in the Quran. You won't find any lady mentioned by name in the Quran other than Maryam. She's the only lady mentioned by name. All other ladies are mentioned by title or description. جيد. Asya bint Muzahim is called in the Quran what? She's called Imra'at Fir'aun, Pharaoh's lady. That's her title in the Quran. But her name is Asya. How did we know? From the narrations. And the second one is Maryam, the mother of Jesus, salamullahi alayhima. Peace be upon them both. What does this have to do with our topic? Well, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala presents examples for those who disbelieve and those who believe, He could have chosen many examples, but He chooses these four ladies. Two were bad examples, yani bad role models for humanity. And two were excellent role models. Jayyid, they're all women. All women. And that tells you that the role of a woman is a critical role. If she follows Allah's command, she can become an excellent role model for the men and women. Because when Allah says, ضرب الله مثلا للذين آمنوا, He's not talking about the mu'minat only. He's talking about mu'minin and mu'minat. Maryam, Asiya, alayhim salam, became excellent role models for believing men and women. And the opposite is also true. Imra'at Lut and Imra'at Nuh, the wives of Lut and Nuh alayhim salam, became bad role models for all of humanity, not only for women. So the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala presents four examples, and they're all women at the end of Surah Al-Tahrim, that in itself implicitly tells us that the role of a lady is a critical role. A lady can build nations, can build societies, if she follows Allah's guidance, and she can also destroy nations and destroy societies if she violates Allah's commands subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why we have certain movements. I like to call them isms because they end with ism. Jayyid, certain isms today that are trying to work on women specifically. And I'll say it bluntly, they're trying to spoil our women, to spoil our ladies. Lesh, because if you can spoil a lady, if you can spoil a woman, you can destroy nations. Islam tries to do the opposite, tries to build nations, build societies, tries to preserve our women by telling them follow who? Zahra al-Batul alayha salam. Follow Zainab al-Kubra, follow Khadija, Sukayna bint al-Husayn, Fatima al-Ma'suma. These are your role models, the role models that will actually make you pure women. Women of piety, women who are intellectuals, women who have proper conduct and have shyness. What's unfortunate is that some Muslimat today are affected by feminism. Jayyid. They're greatly affected by feminism when they have Fatima al-Zahra alayha salam. If I have Fatima al-Zahra, then why do I need feminism? If I have Islam, then why do I need feminism? Will feminism present guidance that Fatima did not present, alayhi salam? Obviously not. Yes. What is it? صحيح صحيح.
Like the wife works the job. They should want for it. I have the wife work. First, I always thought about people mix together. But I won't be a mix.
Now, inshallah, we will get to the household and the roles of the husband and the roles of the wife. Then this is the point of the class, right? Or one of the points. How to build an Islamic household. So we're starting with the husband and the wife. We're starting with We're talking about choosing the right spouse. Later on, once we finish this topic, we're going to speak about the roles of the husband, the roles of the wife in the household, and then we'll get to the children, how to raise the children properly. There is a hadith by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa hadith by Imam al-Baqir, where he mentions that Ali and Fatima went to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa and they basically made him the judge, so he could tell each one of them what is his or her role in the house. Now here, Zahra was representing what? Women, and it was representing the wife, the Muslim wife. Al-Amir was representing men, the Muslim husband. So the Prophet said what, sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He said that Fatima is responsible of what is inside the house, meaning to take care of the house chores, ahsan. The husband, Ali, is responsible of what lies outside the house. So he's responsible of what? Of bringing مثلا food, water, sustenance, money, sustenance into the house. Sahih? Yeah. Those are, that's the role of that's one of the roles of the Muslim wife, and that's one of the roles of the Muslim husband. But there are other roles as well. What do we understand from the narration? We understand that initially working, the responsibility of working and providing for the family lies on the man, not the woman. Make sense?
Yeah, but you know, we're talking about it. It's like most odd. I'm not saying like, but odd.
Today, unfortunately, it has become normal for women, wives, I mean, married women, to work outside their homes. It has become normal, such that if you tell people that this is wrong or shouldn't be done, or you say, مثلا, it's best that she works as a housewife, that she takes care of the house chores instead of working outside the house, your words will be looked down upon. You'll be criticized, and you might be scolded as well. Jayyid. Now, one may ask, from an Islamic perspective, is a lady allowed to work? Is it halal to work? If her husband is okay with it, because we're talking about a married lady, صح? If her husband is okay with it, and when she's preserving her external and internal hijab when she's working, Jayyid, and obviously she's not working in a setting that's unlawful, then it's lawful, it's okay. Jayyid. But then the second question would be, what's best? What's best? Is it better for her to work as a housewife, to work outside the house? If she has to choose one of the two, what's best? Working as a housewife. If the other one was best, Rasulullah would have told Fatima, Ya Fatima, your role is to go out of the house, outside, to work with the men and to bring money and food to your children. He didn't say that. He said, you're responsible of what lies inside the house. Tamam? And again, Fatima was representing Muslim women, Muslim wives. Al-Amir, the commander, was representing Muslim husbands. Jayyid, the Muslim men. So obviously working as a housewife is better. And it's very rewarding. And inshallah, we will read some traditions on the immense amount of good deeds a lady receives for simply taking care of her house. The reward is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing, wallah. Kaman, when the husband helps his wife, it's mustahab for a husband to help his wife carry out her house chores. And we will get to that. Yani, I don't want to mention everything right now. Jayyid? Any form of help, any form of help, when you're helping someone else, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you for what you're doing. عرفت كيف? So when you help, مثلا, say you're a sibling, you're helping your sister in carrying out a house chore. Obviously, Allah ta'ala will give you thawab for that, right? But how much thawab will He give you? That's different. I don't know. Yes, sister, go ahead. Yeah. So any form of help is appreciated. But when a husband specifically helps his wife, مثلا, he washes the dishes on her behalf, he sweeps the floor, he helps her in some way or form, the reward that he receives for that help is also amazing. Inshallah, we will get to that. هلا علي, طبعا انت you opened a very important topic and a sensitive topic. Some sisters will say we can do both. We can be housewives and we take care of our houses, but at the same time we want to work. Go ahead. No. 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 Yes. Mm-hmm.
I would be like, I would be what is it? Oh, I'm going this field.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
Yes.
I always think about it.
Yes. So the issue with work, basically, no, I want to answer it now, but in a summarized manner, and later on we can give a longer answer. But then because the topic was opened, it's necessary to answer it right now. Those who say we can do both, we can, work outside our houses, and we can also uphold our duties as wives and mothers. We tell them, if you can do that, then mashallah, tabarakallah, may Allah ta'ala bless you for your efforts. But you're overburdening yourself. You're putting too much on yourself. You're putting too much on yourself, because initially this responsibility lies on the man, not on you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the man is responsible of providing for the wife, not the opposite. It's not the wife who's responsible of providing for the husband. That's number one. Number two, in some cases, if not many cases, because she's taking care of multiple roles at the same time, her working outside the house will lead her to basically show some shortcomings, taqsir, in upholding her role as a wife or as a mother, because she has too many things to do. Jayid, she has to take care of herself, of her house, of her husband, and of her children, right? She has duties pertaining to all of these four. So now they add another issue, which is working. Now she has to also work outside the house. How much can you handle, right? Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. The second issue is al-ikhtilat, mixing. Many workplaces require that the lady mixes excessively with non-mahram men. So those are the two main issues with a married lady that's working, right? The number one, her work in many cases or some cases will prevent her from properly upholding her duties as a wife or as a mom, number one. Number two, usually her work will lead her to excessive mixing with non-mahram men, and that can really damage her religiosity, number one, or her relationship with her husband, number two. So one might tell me, okay, what if a married lady works at a place where she does not mix with non-mahram men? She works with women, for example, or with women and children. And at the same time, she's able to carry out all of her duties as a wife, as a mom, and her duties as a worker. Would there be an issue? No, there wouldn't. There would not be an issue whatsoever. Jayid? As long as her husband is okay with her working outside the house. Tamam? So the main problems with women, married women, working outside the house are those two problems that I just mentioned. Usually, because she's working 8 to 9 hours per day, 5 days or 6 days or maybe 7 days per week, Allahu Alam, it will prevent her from properly upholding her role as a wife or as a mom. We can't forget that when she has children, she plays a vital role in the life of those children, in their upbringing. So she has to think, what's more important, my work, acquiring money, or properly raising my children? She's the first teacher that teaches her children. Tamam? If that teacher is not present the beginning of her children's childhood, the children will need to find another teacher. Who will that teacher be? What kind of thoughts will that teacher put in her children's minds? Allahu A'lam. The other issue is the mixing. Many many types of work or workplaces require that women mix excessively with non-mahram men, and that's an issue. This is an issue that that not only married women should be aware of, even single women. And one might tell me, all right, there's a lady who's not married yet, and she wants to work. Hosh, okay, she wants to work. Barakallah fiha. Then what? Look at the workplace. If her work will lead her to mix excessively with non-mahram men, that's not good. It's not good. It's not me who says it. Zahra says it, alayhi salam. Zahra al-Batul. When I bring my own thoughts, when I throw my own thoughts at people can tell me, you know what, we disagree with you, ya Hammam. Khair, inshallah. I'm not infallible. But if someone is bringing the thoughts of Ahlul Bait, the beliefs of Ahlul Bait, the ideas of Ahlul Bait, then we all have to be what? Silent and accept what they say, alayhim salam. Zahra says, it is better for women not to see men, nor to be seen by men. It is better, or it's best. Fadal Habibi. You had a question? You sure? Jayyid. So our time is up. That was our hadith for today regarding choosing the right wife. Inshallah, next week, continue with these hadith. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala al-Mustafa Muhammadin wa alihi al-Tahirin.